Hello, and welcome to Abby Tyler's Healthy Living. My name is Abby Tyler. I'm your host, a family nurse practitioner, a health and wellness blogger, and a community volunteer. In here, we discuss evidence based health information regarding mind, body, and soul with a holistic emphasis. Thanks for joining me on this journey of health and wellness. Please enjoy the show. Hello. Welcome to our Tuesday show. Welcome. Happy Tuesday, Abby Tyler's Healthy Living, ATHLers. My name is Abby Tyler. I'm a Healthy Living NP. How are you guys doing? Hope all is well. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit the like and follow button so you don't miss any shows. And if for regular dedicated followers, welcome back again. If you're watching me from YouTube or Focus on Liberia, I say welcome. These, as you can see, today's topic is a discussion on leading women's health topics. Welcome to the month of May. So, month of May is when we celebrate Women's Health Month, and it's also just found out it's Teachers Week too. For some reason, I thought Teachers Week was another day, a week after. So, happy Teachers Week to all the teachers out there. Also, I'm low partial to happy Nurses Week. So, happy Nurses Week to all our beautiful dedicated nurses out there, dedicated teachers as well too, because teachers also teach nurses also. All right, so happy Nurses Week, and also by the end of this month is no, the end of this next week is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day in advance. So again, let me see. Without any further ado, my disclaimer as always: I'm a provider, but I'm not your provider. So please do not make any changes to your regimen without checking with your own providers. So let's get into the show. Alrighty, so Women's Health Month. There are many topics on women's health and all that too. So this is not like a comprehensive list, but these are the leading topics I want to speak about today. Okay. So please again give me a like, give me a thumbs up, like and follow, share the show. So the algorithm can get it out to other people who need this information. It may not be for you, but it may be for somebody you love or somebody who you don't love, or just anybody. Just share it out there. Okay. So let me just go back here. And okay, so I'm here. So women's health topic, and I'll go back to alrighty then. So I'll go here and get everything started. Okay. Leave your comments, in there, and then I'll answer. If I don't get to it, I'll respond to it later on. Okay. So just leave your comments there. Okay, so let's get to the first topic. I don't like to do long videos anymore. So let's general health. Okay. So it is important, like I always talk about, knowing your numbers, but most important, like every year I talk about making sure you go into your family care provider to make sure that you get your annual testing done. Okay, your annual exam physical done. So when you do your annual physical, they also to do physical examination and also get your blood work, you get your family history, all of that, and do talk to you about preventative care, look at anything else, any other chronic diagnoses that you have, address certain medications and all of that. So the family doctor can do a whole lot. Most people don't usually have to go to other specialists and all that. So if it's managed in your family doctor, that's good. Of course, they're gonna refer you to a specialist if they have to. So you say, why do I have to go to my family doctor again? Sometimes some diseases don't manifest themselves until way gone into it, and some have no symptoms at all until you get some blood work done and all that. So it's always best to know what your baseline is, so if anything happens you can say, oh no, I need my diabetic number. So this, I know my blood pressure was like this, and I know why this is, and the reason they'll tell you these numbers are different based on these numbers, and this is the reason how we can help you. Okay, most of the time people think I'm feeling better, so I don't really have to go to my family doctor, I'm fine. It's always best to go every year, and it's free. Preventative, first your annual physical is always free. Check with your insurance company though. Okay, so you're going to get your general health done, and also for people who are in school and all that, you have to get your physicals anyway. So most of the time when you get out of school, you don't go anymore. But if you're going for a job interview and they tell you they might need physical, so you have to go. But it's just best. You're paying for the insurance anyway, so go for it. Alrighty. So knowing your heart health, I talked about heart health in February, your cholesterol numbers, those are the things cholesterol had. You don't have those symptoms in that, heart disease and all of that. Most of the times you don't have any symptoms. Still, when the symptoms start manifesting, that's when you know that you really have to go get help. All right. Heart disease is the leading cause of death among women in the United States. All right. It takes in 1 in 5 deaths every year. So it's important that you know your cholesterol number, your blood pressure. If your heart's always racing, you find yourself sometimes you're getting dizzy when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like you've been sleeping enough. Also, there's sleep apnea too. So you're not getting enough oxygen go into your brain, into your heart, into your lungs. So you want to go there, get that checked, because you don't want to sit there and be like, oh my goodness, I have my chest pain. And for women, the chest pain signs is not always like, oh my God, that crushing chest pain you see on TV and you see people holding the chest. It could be just like indigestion. It could be maybe something like annoying. I got this pain right here, and you're thinking it's not something serious, and it could be something really serious. Okay, so at least go to your doctor, get all those numbers done, and be checking your blood work every year. We start looking at your blood work every year and seeing and comparing it and say, okay, those numbers, we're not too comfortable what the kidney numbers look like. We're not too comfortable with your cholesterol numbers, your blood pressure, last time you were here, something's going on. And even, of course, like I said, if you have chronic diseases and you're taking some blood pressure medications and it may not be effective, all right, or it may be too effective and it can cause you to have your blood pressure, becoming very low and you're becoming dizzy. Sometimes you can even pass out from that. Okay. And even outside of that, you want to go get checked. Okay. So go ahead, get that checked, have those numbers, because remember, if you're a mother, maybe you're not a mother, you could be a grandmother, you could be a single woman, you could be whatever, but you're deaf or you're, God forbid, deaf. Whatever happens to you also affects the entire family too. So it's important that you go. Not saying the father doesn't affect the entire family, but know what I'm talking about, especially when you have younger kids and all right? So know your blood pressure number, know your A1C. If you're diabetic, your controlled diabetic, it should be less than 7. All right. And then 7, if you're controlled diabetic, when you start going up there, those higher numbers, and it starts saying you need, insulin or other injectables and all that, like your Trulicity and all that. So you want to control those numbers. Even if you're diabetic, you want to control those numbers. Even if you're taking medication for cholesterol and all that blood pressure, you want to control those numbers. Okay. Because the higher the number is and the more controlled it is, it puts you at risk for heart attack or stroke. All right, we're going to be talking about stroke later on this week. I know it's Women's Month. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to make sure we keep the woman safe. Okay. Alrighty, maintaining a healthy weight. Of course, it's like, oh my God, this person, they used to be so skinny when they were 20 years old, when they're in their 30s and things, and look at them now. There are many reasons why people gain weight. It could be medications, also it could be hormonal changes. And as you get older, your body's going to start, putting on some weight anyways, but you want to keep it healthy. Not saying you should be skinny. And also they always talk about the BMI. People don't pay that, we pay attention. It's part of the weighing too now, but it's not the main thing that it used to be before, because it doesn't take into account your cultural differentiations, your body's shape and all, because somebody who's like an apple shape would not look the same way as somebody who's like pear shape and everything on the scale. So it doesn't take into so many different varieties and different things that it didn't when they were first developed, because it was like developed for like a 20 something year old Caucasian male way in the 20s and all that. So no, we don't do that anymore. It's one of the tools that we use, but it's not the specific tool that we use anymore. Okay, so stay active. How can you do that? Try to exercise 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week. You can go dancing. You can dance. You can put your TV on. You can dance to music while you clean up in the house, while you're doing your work, while you're doing some work from home. Some people work from home. Some people are business people who work from home as well. Because the minute you start saying, some people start saying, oh my God, that's stereotypical. But you can be doing anything. You can be an executive, or you can be a stay-at-home mom, still get up, move around 30 minutes a day. Like when I'm home, I get up, I have my stepper. If I'm going to be sitting out for a long time, especially when I'm charting, I have my stepper. I get up every hour. I get on there for like maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, go in there. I'm looking at the clock, or I set my alarm and get up and move around. The days that I'm not going out of my house, or like I'm just staying home. Okay. When I go to work, I leave work, I go to the park. I walk every day, every other day when the weather's nice and all. Or I do my stepper at home. So you can put YouTube on. There's so many ways that you can stay healthy. Alrighty. Young women, if you plan on having children in the future, all right, even if you don't plan on having children, but if you do plan on having children, making sure that you go into and even older women as well too. I'm talking about women across the spectrum now. You're supposed to be getting your pap smear to rule out cervical cancer, okay? So making sure that you go into your GYN, you start getting that first pap smear at age 21, regardless of whether you say, oh yeah, I'm sexually involved, whatever, it doesn't matter. You go get your pap smear, you're going to rule out cervical cancer. Women, and also your doctor will talk to you, get your medical history. They might say come every year, they might say come every 3 to 5 years, based on your personal history and your family history, and also, but making sure you go to your day. And also don't be checking your breasts. Women, One in eight women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. Every woman is at risk for getting breast cancer, but there are women who are at higher risk of getting breast cancer, meaning that you have a family member, a first degree relative who, like your mother, could be your father's side too, a sibling already. So check with your family history when you're talking to your parents and your mother and everything this year, your grandmother, when you're celebrating Mother's Day and stuff like that. No, you're not going to bring up anything that's going to be kind of, dreary on Mother's Day. But even if it's not this weekend, but this is Women's Health Month. So when you're sitting there having that conversation, have that conversation with your girlfriends, with other women friends and all that. Talk about it. Did you go get your breast checked this year? Did you get your mammogram yet? Are you doing your monthly breast examination? If you're still on your period, do your breast examination at least a week after your period. All right. And other than that, you can do it in one. You just find a time on the calendar and do it at least once a month. If you feel anything, feel like a frozen pea, meaning not the letter P, a little P, like, for labor, I can say kitula, I guess so. So some of these tiny like that, you feel that and it's hard. Sometimes it doesn't have to be painful, but once it starts getting painful, then you really need to go. But you need to go when you feel anything different. All right. I do have a several videos on breast cancer. Is below this one. You can check in the library. Go ahead and get that check. You're supposed to be getting your mammogram every month, every year. And also, if they might tell you we want to follow up with some blood work, depending on your family history. All right, if you have a higher risk of getting breast cancer, and also they might say we want to follow up with an ultrasound. We want to do a mammogram. We want to do MRI because you have a higher risk. I think Beyonce's mother, when she came out with her book not too long ago, said that I think she mentioned that she also had like a private battle with breast cancer because the father came out and talked about that. So that put them at a very high risk of getting breast cancer if you were in that category, because now you have it on both sides. So just make sure when you're asking your family about their breast cancer history, make sure you're asking on both sides, who had it on dad's side, who had it on mom's side. Okay. And exercise, like I said, and other menstrual irregularities too. Heavy fibroids. If you're having your period and you're bleeding very, very heavy every time, to where some people usually will pass out and all because you're very anemic. Your blood, that's what we say, your blood is low. So any kind of irregularities, you find yourself changing pads very often, and it's getting to the point you're having severe cramps and all. Even if it's your daughter, please, nobody should be suffering from menstrual cramps that severely that they have to stay home from school. So make sure you're talking to your child's ear. If it's your daughter, talking to the pediatrician. If they're transitioning to another pediatric, like pediatric gynecologist or gynecologist and all, making sure you're talking to them about that, because like I said, there's no reason why anybody should be suffering from that. So they might want to do an ultrasound to make sure you don't have like heavy fibroids. Also endometriosis. There's so many irregular menstrual irregularities that can really affect a girl's life and a woman's life. If that is what you're going through, please speak to your family doctor and also speak to your gynecologist too. Okay. Sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking going to the gynecologist. It's not pleasant, but it's something that you have to do to stay healthy. Okay. You can have somebody in the gynecologist. If it's a male gynecologist, they will have somebody else in the room with them anyways. And if you can choose it, I only want to see a female gynecologist, you can check around, check your insurance company. They have a list of all the males and female gynecologists, and they can, go on from there. And like I said, you can have somebody in the room besides the staff. You can have somebody else in the room with you. Okay. And osteoporosis, for those of you who are very thin out there, very, very thin people, you come from a family, culture that really, really thin, it's kind of nice. All right. But at the same time, your bones could be brittle as you get older, because when you get to the point where you start going to menopause and all that, and meaning that you're not seeing your period anymore, that protection, the vitamin D, by the way, anybody who's premenopause or postmenopause or going through menopause, start supplementing your food with rich in vitamin D and vitamin C and all the calcium. All right. Because so you protect your bones, because as you get older, when you're not getting that much anymore, and if you fall, or God forbid something happens, you might break like a major bone. And for most women, they always kind of break the hip bone or the pelvic bone, and that can be very, very serious. Okay, so make sure you talk to your doctor, let them know what's going on with you and all that. It will tell you things that you need to start screening yourself for at that period of time. 21, getting your pap smear, making sure you get your mammogram, getting colon cancer screening also as well. All right, 45 to 50 or 40 to 50, depending on your family history. Okay. So we got that, and I went right into the GYN part. Okay. And let me go in here. I don't see any questions right now. And I did the gynecological health rate. So the next one would be you guys know I don't have long videos anymore. The last one would be prioritizing your mental health. is so important. I know sometimes people are like, oh, what do you have to be depressed about? You got this, you living in, the development world, developed country, and things are going well for you. You may be going through a hard time, but that doesn't mean you're facing the same thing that people are facing in places where, under military rule, or there's so much more poverty. You can still be going through a lot of things and still be in the developed part of the world. And you can still be going to and things while you're in the developing part of the world as well. Okay, so especially women, we tend to put our health and our mental health on the back burner. Don't let that be the case. Okay, if you need help, of course, when it comes to anxiety and depression, uncontrolled anxiety and depression, you find yourself being very jumpy all the time. You find yourself hard to concentrate, or you're depressed and you just kind of chugging along, like it's a functional depression where you basically just going through the motion just to get through the motion. And especially if you have younger kids too. All right, talk to them, talk to your doctor and say, this is what I'm going through. There is no shame in asking for help. Okay, there's no shame in asking for help. If you don't want to tell anybody else about it, you don't have to tell anybody else about it, because depending on the culture you're from, they can kind of shame you into it. So, oh yeah, all you have to do is pray about it. I had it, I pray about it, and things happened and everything was fine for me. There's nothing wrong with praying about it. You can still pray about it if you're a praying person. And also at the churches have counselors too, so you can talk to them. But make sure if you're talking to somebody who is counseling you from the church, they also have degree in counseling too. It's not just somebody who's just going to spread out Bible verses to you or whatever. If you go to the synagogue or the mosque, they just saying all the things that are in their holy book. Alrighty, and then next thing you know, you're sitting there, it would be the Quran and the Torah and the Bible. I don't know any other. I'm just the major ones I know right now. Okay, so make sure they have counseling, they have degree in that too. Most churches, especially the bigger churches, not I'm not talking about mega churches, but the ones that have like 3,000, 4,000 people there, regular churches that have maybe about 1,000 members or maybe 500 or so, they usually have people who are trained in the churches, and they're paid members, and they're paid people in the church, and not just volunteers. All right, so you can go to them and get the help that you need, or you can go to a regular counselor. All right, you can do that online too. So it's better. I think it's called Better Help Online. I'm not too sure. Like, just that you can call them and see and get information. So you don't necessarily have to do it in person, because most times everybody's so busy. So you can find the time, schedule it, and do that. Alrighty. But outside of like uncontrolled anxiety and depression, have fun. Go out, do things outside of the community. I know sometimes it's like you get to a certain point in your life where you like, okay, you're closer to people in your community, but sometimes you want to do something different. And sometimes it's good to know something different. Go out, do things that you didn't think you ever gonna do. If there's dancing somewhere, go dancing. Go boat riding, whatever it is, just do something different. Do what makes you happy. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, go and do what makes you happy. Go out there when you're at work. If your friends want to go out, if you feel comfortable going out with them, go out with them. If you don't, make different friends. You can make friends of different races. You can make different friends of people in your same culture, but different set of people. Go to a different church if you want to go to, so you can see different people, watch different shows. There's so many things out there that you can do differently from what everybody's used to, because sometimes you be like, oh my God, if I want to do something different, I'm so used to this, and I don't want people to say stuff. And then sometimes people would say things, oh, they would just one thing, she's stuck up, this one thing, she can't hang out with other people. Let them talk. Let them talk. Eventually they will stop talking. People would say things. Some people, there would be people who would just literally believe everything about you because they've been waiting to see you fall anyways. So to believe in that, some people be like, you know what? This person might be saying that. I don't think that's what it is, but they ain't saying it to your face. And if they say it to your face, let bring it on. Anyways, so go ahead and have fun and prioritize. Like I said, if you want to take your kids, and sometimes you have younger kids that you don't have the time to be doing all those things. It doesn't have to be every week. It doesn't have to be every weekend that you have to go out, that you have to do something every weekend. Find something, watch, like I said, watch different shows. I can sit there, and I love music, and I'm glad that I was exposed to so many different kinds of music growing up. So I can sit there and be listening to Barbara Streisand one minute, and the next minute I'm listening to Beyonce, or I'm listening to some country music, or I'm listening to something rock music. So it's good to really just open yourself out to so many different things out there. Don't just put yourself in this bubble and say, this is because I'm this race, this is I think are going to make me happy, or I'm from this culture, this is what's going to make me happy. There's so much more out there. Okay, so as a woman, the most important thing, I'm not going to say the most important thing, but try to make sure you prioritize your mental health. Okay, so let me just go back here. So prioritize your mental health, but first and foremost, the review. Make sure you go into your family doctor every year and getting your physical examination, getting your blood work done. Prioritize your heart health. Prioritize your heart health. Prioritize your heart health. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Your cholesterol number, your blood pressure, your heart rate, know your family history, know your, and for women, again, get your gynecological history, go to your gynecologist or the family doctor. Most of the people also, we're also trained in knowing the full thing from birth to the end of life and all that. But sometimes, we prefer that you go to the gynecologist and get specific here. I am going to talk about menopause some days. I'm trying to get my friend who's into who is women's health specialist to come on. If not, I'll just do that. And for menopause and all that, remember, you're not into menopause yet until you haven't seen your period for 12 full months, for 12 consecutive months. Okay. So don't be thinking, oh my God, I didn't see it this time. I didn't see this time. So, and if you're sexually active and you're not in the menopause yet, yes, you can still get pregnant already. So making sure you're speaking to your doctor about that. There's so many things that come along with menopause too. The hot flashes. Sometimes you have some problem concentrating and memory fog and all of that. But so many good things that come along with it. People hear menopause and they're like, oh, that's the end of your life. You just need to go hang it up now. No, there's so much more. People are living their best lives and going through that. Sometimes you may need some medication to help you along. Sometimes you may need some therapy to help you along. And some people have it and some people don't have that majority of symptoms. But that also affects your heart health too. So it's not just, just the gynecological part of it. All right. So stay healthy, exercise at least 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week or more, dancing, doing all that. Prioritize your mental health. Do things that are fun, do things that will make you happy, do things that will make people happy, happy to be around and be around people who really appreciate you. Okay, who people can understand you, appreciate you. They don't necessarily have to understand you all the way, but appreciate you. You don't have to agree on everything, simply because this person's my friend, so I have to agree on everything. Now, there are core values that you might say, maybe this person would just be friend from, over there. We don't necessarily have to be friends all the way. Alrighty. So stick to your core values, but don't be so strict to where it's like the things that you believe in and is hurting other people. Be a little more flexible when it comes to that. Okay. But like I said again, this is Mother's Week, with Mother's Day week. And it's also Nurses Week. All my nurses out there, happy Nurses Week, happy Nurses Week, happy Nurses Week to all of you. Those are the ones that I work with and the ones that I worked with before, and all colleagues all over the world. Woo! What are you guys getting this year? We used to get towels and umbrellas, and then after a while, it was like, yeah, happy Nurses Week. But I think of some of the things I used to happen back in the day, my friends and all that, nurses, the CNAs, everybody else. We had so much fun and all. But happy Nurses Week. And to you teachers, happy Teachers Week, because you also teach nurses and you teach everybody. You do such a great job. You need to be more appreciated because the kind of things you go through and all of that. And us nervous students, we were in school and all. So, and teachers who are nurses and all that too. Happy Teachers Week to all of you. I appreciate all of you for watching. Alrighty, let me see in here. Let me see, do I have any questions in the comments? Let me see here. Darius Greenfield said, I'm watching from Chocolate City. Thank you for watching, Darius. I'm trying to remember where was Chocolate City at in Liberia. I have to ask. I've been away for so long. Certain places I don't remember it. But thank you for watching, Darius. And please share the show. Share the show. And if you're new here, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, meaning the time is going to be 7 o'clock in New York. And then I do Abby's Daily Dose during the week. So if you're on Focus on Liberia on YouTube and all that. Sometimes I put the shorter videos on YouTube also. I do the Abby's Daily Doses, like 90 seconds during the week. I do little health topics here and there. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you for watching and your love and support, your continued support. So I'll probably do another video on Mother's Day and all that, but happy Mother's Day in advance. And I'm sure, and I know very well that Mother's Day is not always a happy day for everybody, especially this year. Some people, I have two friends who buried their only children last year and early this year. So, and some people are going to be estranged from their mother on Mother's Day. There's so many other things. Some people are in the army, in the service, and all be away for the Mother Day. And some people, mothers, are in heaven. So happy Mother's Day in the meantime. Happy Teachers Week again, and happy Nurses Week. Alrighty. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Have a good night if it's nighttime where you are. And I'll see you again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. in Abby's Daily Dose during the week. Thank you. Bye-bye now.